So another thing that we need to talk about are variables. So if you want to put in a text that says hello, hello. So this is the format of how you put in a text. So text, open parentheses, quotation marks of what you want to say, and then you just need to put in the X and Y position of that text. So let's just try 50-50 now. And it's going to give us a hello. Now, there are two ways you can write this. The first is by hard coding hello, just like what I did. Or you can also introduce a variable for that word. Let word equals hello. And then we are going to substitute that for word. And then it's going to still give us the word hello. This is what is called a variable. And how we define that is we usually define it at the very top as a global variable. And what a variable is basically code word for something else. Variables work within functions. So for example, if I put this right here in the draw function, it's still going to understand that, and it still knows that, okay, by word you meant the word hello. But if I try and use it here, if I say text word, maybe I just cut and paste it into the setup function, I'm going to get an error message. So it's not going to work because this function is, this variable is attached to the draw function. So that is why with most variables, we try to place it at the very top above all the functions, and that's so that it becomes what we call a global variable, which is every function can use it and understand it. So let's say I want the X value of the rectangle and the X value of the ellipse to be 200. So I can hard code 200 in, or what I can do is also introduce a variable that says let X position equals 200, and maybe just X pause. So we like to shorten it, and I can just put in X pause, and it's going to have the same effect. When you want to move them across, you just need to change your variable. And they are maybe 800 to 500, and then they are going to move on their own. So you don't need to go into every line and change each number. So a cool thing that you can do with variables and color, so a link to this sketch is going to be provided in the description below. But if I hit play, we've got a square, click anywhere and hold down the mouse. I'm clicking, and it's going to give me random colors. So what is happening here? So how that happened was it has turned our RGB values of the color of this square and this text. We have turned those RGB values into variables. So variables, you can either use let or var. I think you can also use let in this case. Still same effect. Let RGB. So what is happening is, okay, computer, I want to draw a canvas 400 by 400 size, and then, okay, it draws that once, it enters draw function. Okay, I want a gray color on my background, and then so here is where the magic happens. So if my mouse is pressed, assign the variable r to a random value, a random number between 0 to 255. And then assign g to random value between 100 to 200. And assign b to random value between 0 to 150. Obviously, you can later go into the sketch and tweak around as you would like, and use those random numbers to fill in the RGB value. So to be the fill color of this rectangle and this text. If mouse is pressed, so if I press this mouse, the computer, again, you know how draw keeps looping, so it's going to continue on just constantly choosing random values and assigning random colors. So have a play with the sketch. Link to that will be below. So yeah, in the next video, we're going to be talking about interactivity, interacting with the mouse like you just saw here, and how we can actually draw, actually doodle in p5.js. So I'll see you guys then.